So now we are right now on Power BI desktop. As you can see, I don't have any updates available over here. So I'm on the latest version of Power BI desktop. This is one check which you always need to do. Moving on. Now let's have a look of many to many relationships. So as I said, if I go back and open this data connections, there are two ways in which you can directly connect to the data, and there is a hybrid way which is a dual mode. So the difference between import, direct query and dual mode is import means you would import entire set of data into the Power BI desktop. This will make your Power BI file with the extension PBIX a very heavier file. This one can be bypassed doing a direct query. So direct query would not import the data completely into the Power BI desktop. However, it would only query the data and pull the data as and when needed by the end user. And there is a dual mode in which a caching is enabled into the system, wherein a repeated calls to the Power BI query would force Power BI desktop to save certain sets of data for further use till the time the cache is invalidated. Rest of the times, the data stays back into the server, and some data which you have imported would stay with the Power BI desktop. This is more of kind of network versus Power BI file threshold. As and when you feel the file is getting heavier, you would slowly move towards a direct query. As and when you feel direct query takes lots of time and there's a bulky data coming over, that's when you would import it. So when you are in two minds, it's better to import the data and work on it. Else, many a times you can do a direct query. Yes. So when we say import a data, I have one piece of data which is GL master old and MIS mapping. So if I go here and try to identify, is it a direct query? Yes, GL master is a direct query. If I see Excel, is it an direct query or an import? It is an import. So the data completely resides over here. MIS GLCC mapping. In this case, is it import? Yes, it is import. I also have a relationship. Let's have a look at this. It has many to many relationship given, which I previously said is not possible in Power BI desktop. This is a workaround to have many to many relationship. Now let me undo this what I have done and show you how to get this import and direct query working together at this state. So let me delete the data from here. It gets deleted from the model. It will go off. Perfect. And now let's delete this as well. So this window and what you see, the relationships, are the models in Power BI desktop terms. Please remember we are on the model screen. Now let's import some piece of information. Okay, I want to do a SQL Server import. I say connect. Now, as I want to connect with this, there is an option to import or perform a direct query. So let's do one thing. I have one server which you won't be able to view the server name. And I'm saying it as import. So when I do an import, it would connect to the database based on the previous credentials what I've fed in. I will find out the database name within the database server. I say I want this as this table to be imported into Power BI desktop. So now till the time it is getting imported, it would show there is pending changes because there's an ongoing change which is asking the Power BI to hold. Let's wait for this data to come in. As soon as it is completed, you will see this table added into the model window over here. Let it come. Yes, now it is connecting. Loading the data into the model. It has now got 100 rows, odd rows. Yes, there we are. At the same time, if it finds any relationship, it would try to connect to it. So I'll also show you how to avoid these auto relationships as well sometime later in this episode. Now, let me pull in another piece of information, a SQL Server data, onto this model. I'm again connected to the no, I'm not wanting the import. Let me undo this. I do not want the import over here. Let me do this. I'm saying I want to do a direct query. Alright. And there are advanced options, as in, do you have any SQL station, and do you want to include relationship columns? So if there are master key and foreign key, primary key relationship, do you want to maintain them while you want to import, like we saw in the earlier products table? Right now we don't want anything of the advanced option. We just say direct query to one of the tables. So when we say GL master, and when I go here, I have this table structure in my head, which I exactly know there is something known as GLs available in this column as well. And I say load. As soon as I say load, you would get an idea. First, the system will evaluate, then it would try to connect, then would try to import. Meanwhile, it would keep showing us as pending for changes. Let it load. There we are. Let's scroll over to the right. Yes, our table is here. Now, let's see what kind of property does it have. It has a direct query. At any given point of time, you can change direct query to import. But this can happen only once. You cannot change import to direct query later on. So right now I'm not changing any of its properties. If you want to give a description, you can give it so. Now, a funny thing to look over here is, if I try to do this, employee ID and employee ID, and if I try to make many to many, this relationship, this should be used if it is expected that neither column contains unique values significant. And now it is changed to many, right? At the same time, if you want one to many or many to one, you can do it so as well. So these days, since you connected to this system and on a latest Power BI desktop, you can actually have many to many relationships. Why are we on many to many relationship? Many to many relationship is used when you have a table such as this. Have a look at this. GL master. Where is GL master old? If you have GL number such as this, see, there are non-unique rows in this table. 4350500 getting repeated over and over. At the same time, if we go into this table, you can't see the data because it's a direct query. However, we can connect to it when, let's have a look at it. By doing get data, again, we can directly, yes, and I say direct query. I'm connecting to the DB not to get the data. Alright, now, okay, I have entered a wrong ID. I go back. 50. Okay. And now it has the credentials. I would show you what is the problem. What do we mean by the term many to many? When we say this term, and if I go down, okay, we can't view this. Alright. So what happens is, if you have many to many relationship till now, till the current day, the problem used to get resolved by having another table which was calculated out of the system and then ensured that it always holds unique values, and that was referred by these two tables.